Eccomi Niki. Ah, tutto bene, adesso siamo qui. Compare questo, ma ha chiesto di nuovo di mettere l'orario 9:35. E mo c'è scritto aspetta. Mi ha detto di farlo. Ah, dai fratello. Anche che avvii il gioco e vedi questa settimana pure il tuo orario preferito. Giusto, te lo sei meritato. Va bene. Ok, e che succede se lo faccio? Mi espelle, mi farà qualcosa? Vabbè. L'ultima volta dove siamo rimasti che ho fatto i DLC, il salto, quello che ho detto tutto qui è... Ti ricordi di essere uscito nel mio ufficio o qualcosa? Ufficio diverso. Non mi ricordo. Ecco, rieccoci qua. Ok, quello lo stesso pappone che mi dicono ogni volta.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ok, quindi new content. Tipo qui prima o poi ci potrà... Lì c'è una porta aperta. Vediamo un po' che c'è dentro.
Oh, good. You noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Non posso passare. Non ancora. Vediamo un po'. Questo non è quello dell'altra volta? Scusa, stesso passaggio. Poi c'era new content stavolta. Ah, ok. E non so manco se mi si sente bene, diciamo. Allora, mi si sente intanto. Poi come si fa ad aumentare qui col microfono? Da questa parte o dall'altra? Mi senti? Mi senti? Cioè, no, sì, in effetti tu mi dovresti sempre sentire. Ok. Quindi così ti aumenta. Tipo qualche foglietta che si possa raccogliere. Mi sembra che si possa aprire. Vediamo un po'.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further.
Devo andare avanti?
Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever the Stanley Parable 2.
Tanto è una perculata pure questa.
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly port with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
Beh, tutti e due in diverso. Tipo, se si potesse pure pigliare qualcosa. No, Non si possa aprire.
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
Devo interagire, che sembra tipo YouTube qua tutti i video. Mentre tutti stanno in Parable 2, diverse icone. Due tizi al telefono naturalmente. Cioè, al computer.
The Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
Un bus qua dentro è interessante. Tipo che ha sfondato tutto quanto per entrare.
Here we are. Go on. Try out some of the new features.
Allora, o mi sono immaginato lì, o si è aperta la porta, oppure ho visto quello lì muoversi. Stavo guardando direttamente, stavo guardando in cielo, però mi è sembrato che qualcosa si muovesse. Allora, decorazioni per ufficio, il secchio rassicuratore, il pulsante dice il nome del giocatore che sta giocando. Vediamo un po' il pulsante. Dove cazzo sta il pulsante? È questo qui, questo stand? O qua dentro?
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
Oh, senti il tuo nome. Andiamo un po'. Andiamo un po'.
Jim. Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature.
Sono
Just play
Jim.
along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim, sleeping and waking as Jim, falling in love and being heartbroken as Jim, seizing all of the world's possibilities as Jim, and as Jim watching your dreams crumble into dust. Do you feel it deeply? Are you really, truly Jim right now? If so, then please step forward and press the button. Jim. Yes! You see? What a thrill! What a rush! That was you! The button described you. Do it again. Do it again. Jim. Ooh, it hits even harder the second time. If this were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money. Let's take a break from the Jim button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal validation.
Tipo quindi devo tornare indietro? Comunque, sono Jim per il gioco. In tutte le porte so chiudere, non te ne manco che ci provo. Pure che ci provi. Usciamo. Andiamo un po' a...
I suppose I could allow only people named Jim to play the Stanley Parable 2. That would actually save me the work of finishing this feature. An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, yes, it would go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
I New Plus Easy Trophy. Beh, trofeo gratuito. Trofeo gratis, andiamo al trofeo gratis. Questa cosa è importante. Trofei. Non è tipo cambi qualcosa. Non so, il suo braccio è normale, mi sembra un po' strano. Guarda qui, guarda lì che dito, cioè da grande diventa... Ah no, fratello. Trophy, ok. E entriamo, tanto secondo me mi ammazzano.
You remember that broken test trophy that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the trophy. Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the trophy will be given to you. It's as... Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the trophy is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel, to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
Dai, dammi questo trofeo, bastardo. Compare? Quindi compare per un attimo l'indicatore. Per qualche motivo mi compare. Vabbè, mi sa che torneremo indietro. Non c'è più niente. L'unica cosa che volevo era un trofeo gratuito. Questo non mi piace. E qui non c'è un cazzo. E vabbè. Peccato.
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
Screenshots. Andiamo a vedere.
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
Ah. Questo mi sembra più divertente.
You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Happy 12th birthday, step-niece, it is.
Ogni potastra c'era pure scritto. No. Fine. E usciamo. Che merda.
Actually, maybe I should have gone with... No, I've made my decision, we're moving on.
Qui non posso entrare. Qui Reassurance. Allora, bucket ok. Ma Reassurance che è tipo quella lì che non è quello tipo pieno di ghiaccio? Quella challenge vecchissima.
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I am happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for you than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try. Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on and on, don't they? All this and more awaits you in the Stanley Parable 2.
Ma c'è un buco? No, è una luce. Quindi non mi devo tenere... Ok, hanno aperto la porta. Tipo, a me non lo potessi indossare. Tipo cappello. No.
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
Vabbè, decorazioni per ufficio è questo. Il buco infinito qual è? Scegliere sempre avanti. Quindi qua sotto. Ci terremo questo come oggetto. Ok, sì, questo è il buco infinito.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is in fact a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium. You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top and we can continue onward. Great. Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel.
Bene. E te pensavo che qualcuno avesse spinto, non pensavo che fosse stato io ad andare avanti. Volevo fermare sul bordo, invece sono cascato. Ma sta cosa non posso manco lanciarla, proviamo a tenere. Sembra un coglione. Mi sento un coglione. Magari lo sono, chi lo sa. Molto probabilmente lo sono. Andiamo lì, qua sopra. Questo tizio non mi piace. Can you find them? Can you find... Vabbè, can you find... Ah, collect them, ok.
Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
Ma sta andando avanti, non riesco a capirlo. Sì, mi pare di sì. Yeah, ci sono altre 5. Ma sono tutte qua?
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
Volevo dirlo, ma mi sembra troppo ovvio, quindi non l'ho detto. Però vi sarei detto anche te. Che è qua? Cerchio del salto? Cerchio del salto? Cerchio del salto, che cazzo è? Che cazzo è il cerchio del salto? Allora, io sono qui. Ok. Allora, questo qui l'inizio. B alla seconda, dov'è B2, 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 non c'è B2, ecco qui. E il che ce l'ho. Poi l'asterisco è Setting World Champion. No, Setting World. Andiamo ah no, questa è l'uscita, no, è l'ultima cosa. Prima il cerchio del salto, vediamo un po' dove cazzo sta. Dov'è? Ma A9, no? A9 non sono io lì alla 9. E infatti è quello. Che ci sono 6 qui direttamente. Andiamo a vedere. Magari ce ne sono 6. Ah no, la stanza è chiusa, ok. Quindi niente. Vediamo un po' cosa c'è. Il trofeo gratis che ho fatto. Questa mappa. E dove siamo? Ah, ok. Ecco la N. Dove cazzo sta la N? Quindi io sono lì. Ecco, dovrebbe essere quello, no? Non è questo? Ah no, eccolo qui. Ah, ok.
You know what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle. Oh well. I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece then.
Bene, tutto qui. Che merda. Il cerchio, il salto nel cerchio, la mappa, il trofeo gratis, il bottone che dice il nome, le cose delle vendite, tanto non posso fare niente. Forse l'asterisco mi manca, quello l'ho fatto, l'epilogo mi manca, dov'è il punto e virgola? Punto e virgola non lo vedo. Ah, eccolo lì. Punto e virgola che sarebbe... Ah, ok, l'uscita sarebbe secondo me. No, è l'exit. Punto e virgola sarebbe oltre qua, dall'altra parte del muro, ok. Il buco infinito e i collezionabili, ok, mi mancano il punto e virgola e che era l'altro, vabbè, è il setting, quindi asterisco sarebbe oltre il muro, subito tipo qua. tutto bloccato. Sarebbe questo. Che cos'è 3:44 il tempo record che uno ha impiegato a finirlo? Poi c'è anche il trofeo, finisci il gioco in meno di 5 minuti, una cosa così. Che c'è se faccio uno screenshot? Anche se non mi ricordo manco se si può fare o meno. Lo senti anche te, Nicky? Sì, credo di sì. The baby is all grown up. All'interno un nuovo ufficio intero. Tipo romperlo, no? In qualche modo? Boh. Merda. Il nome del gym, ma qua niente, c'è soltanto stand e non posso farci niente. Vabbè, abbiamo visitato tutto alla fine. Quindi qua è il tempo, quell'altro... Ah no, il punto e virgola mi mancava. Che cos'è il punto e virgola? L'epilogo, che sta? Ah, è quello lì che abbiamo appena visto, quindi si fa tutto. Possiamo uscire. Qual è la citazione, scusa? Bambino? O l'ufficio? Perché se non lo conosco. O 999 il nuovo arancione. Quello lì lo conosco.
What do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay. Are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2.
Che è una grossa cacca? Ah
no. Well, I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind.
Allora, se quelli lo conoscevo.
Different arrangement. Okay, yes. Yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2.
No, c'è la statuetta. Fammi prendere la statuetta.
Stanley. This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game.
No, quello lì l'unica cosa che sapevo, The Black is in Orange. Non mi ricordo i due colori però.
They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course.
Ma che cazzo ne so.
With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work?
427.
But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction,
devi pur dirmi che era il viola.
Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Tipo dice, vabbè, sei uscito, vuoi dare un'occhiata con il tuo nuovo ufficio, quindi mi fa ricominciare tutto quanto da capo? Visto che sta in caricamento. Penso. Ah no. Abbiamo il gioco? Postazioni crediti, abbiamo il gioco, va? Proviamo. E se è davvero un 2, diciamo così, allora facciamo che cambi il titolo e metto Stanley Parable 2. Non è vero. Anche tanto nell'1 credo che debba ancora fare qualche finale, mi pare. Il quello normale.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Un
Stanley worked
salto,
for a company in a big
infatti.
building where he was
Ah, i
employee number
palloncini.
427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on the keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how
Vabbè.
long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every
MS
day,
che è
every
millisecondo.
month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Non per lui.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Non sono le 11, oh.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Questo funzionava. Io un po'. Ah, il secco.
Stanley picked up the bucket.
Devo anche trovare i 6 tizi, i 6 coti, i 6 tatuine. Io un positivo qua dietro, mi sono dimenticata una per caso.
Stanley clung the bucket to his cheek. Could his co-workers really all be gone?
La porta non si è chiusa. Però lì la porta è sempre aperta con le scatole.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
Niente tatuine, mannaggia agosto. Questo però si poteva aprire, mi ricordo. E ancora tutti inutili questa stanza.
Can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy? It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend. You can't hand it over. No. We're getting into name-calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket? Stanley, I never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had imagined. And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends?
Infatti siamo
That your
avanti.
relationship is purely superficial and convenient? That your life is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner? Well, I never. Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments. Expand on the wide variety of experiences you and the bucket have shared together. Go through each of them point by point. Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the bucket as they have changed and evolved over the years. Let him have it.
Ecco, lo sapete? Me lo son fatto più volte.
Okay, I've got you something which I think will help settle this debate once and for all. Here we go. There. Now it's settled. No more debate, no more discussion. Take our hike, broom closet, with all your meandering philosophical diatribes about the nature of cleaning supplies and their relationship to broom closets in the natural order of things.
Sì, ho uno sticker.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation,
Che era
Stanley may have broken
2845?
down into an emotional dumpster fire, if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him, always. The bucket would. And he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845.
Non me lo ricordavo, dai.
But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
La statuina!
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
Quelli fatto paura comunque, quella luce. Mi sembra un po' troppo veloce, no? Velocità normale era. Siamo a
The
2.
elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
Ah, ok, no.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Dico che morivo, perché morivo? Non mi dico. Ah sì, perché c'era la trappola mortale. Cazzi e mazzi.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
Il secchio mi sa che non al computer continua a dire io il secchio.
The monitors jumped to life.
Chiaro 200, eccolo lì. 134.
Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine. Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
Beh, una bella amicizia.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content.
Che famo?
Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its
Che
terrible
faccio?
power
Lo
over
disattivo o
another
lo
human
attivo?
life. For he
Off
and the
on.
bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way,
Oddio.
and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
Che faccio, Niki? On, off, on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off. Siamo a 3. Sarà Danny il terzo? Vabbè, io faccio off. Beh.
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over? Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive
Aspetta.
hall.
No, ok, il
The
secchio.
bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support, and to...
Si è bloccato?
What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed? An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket.
E allora restiamo qui.
Stanley can't leave this place, not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms, not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room, but at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
Bello. Morto per un secchio. Non prenderemo più il secchio. Oppure lo prenderemo e lo utilizzeremo per fare l'altro finale con l'esplosione. Vediamo un po' se tipo il secchio mi salva la vita. Vediamo un po' se che mi tocca.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Ricordiamo per il terzo. Buon 12° compleanno, nipotastra. Meeting room. Stavolta il secchio non vediamo un po' se... No, non si può aprire. Ma le altre statuine dove cazzo stanno?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Come non sarei dovuto prendere, ma sono un coglione, non l'ho preso. Andiamo a morire direttamente. Oh. Come posso trovarli? Small floating objects appear. Ok, we have... Vabbè, tanto non sono indizi. Ok, indizi io. One, what make the... Allora, devo capire. Allora, lì c'è un cesso, ok. Mi sa che è quello del direttore. 416, we can do it. Il stanza 416. Allora, where are they? Please don't leave. Il cesso è quello del direttore quando saliamo. Quello non so dove cazzo sta, scusa, tanto volevo ripetere all'infinito. Quello non riesco a... io sono un post-it. No, fa schifo. Clues. Questo non riesco a capirlo dove cazzo sta. Sembra più un posacenere qualcosa. Provo del bagno. Aspetta. Credo fa sequel exhibit. Nearby a fireplace. Ok, eccoli qua, tutti e 6. Place for an important person. Somewhere both. Con rosso e blu. Le scale. Qualcosa da fare con le scale. Le scale? Beh, sono bello, Devo dire che sono bello. Vabbè, gotta catch'em. A large room, lots of boxes. Una stanza piena di... produce... Questi non sono... planks? Che sono gli scherzi, planks? O mi sbaglio? Planks. O tipo... Beh, andiamo avanti, prima vedere dove stanno queste... Tipo qua dentro, mo? Tipo smontare la luce. Allora, era lungo le scale, ha detto.
Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Oh, qua sotto le scale? Sì.
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini stands? Stanley figs? Or what about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
No, aspetta. Qual è il secchio? Era qua dentro? Non mi sono accorto, cazzo. No, sono un coglione. Se è così sono un coglione. Poi uno ho visto dalla foto che era il bagno. Sì.
Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
Vabbè, questa è la pulizia della prima volta. Posso specchiarmi, bastardi. Ora tipo qua dentro mi ricordo. Dico forse. Prima tipo a scendere. Mi ricordo la prima volta che io ho fatto su e mi ha portato... È qualcosa con rosso e blu, fuori cazzo è rosso e blu, non mi ricordo se è rosso e blu. Rosso e blu. Il palloncino? Intendo un palloncino, ma non credo. E poi un altro che non mi ricordo qual cazzo forse. Tipo posso uscire? Infatti poi rimango qui per qualche cazzo di motivo. È un ascensore così a cazzo.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him.
Questa volta ha
And so the
cambiato.
boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845.
No, ho sbagliato.
But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Ok.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Blu e rosso. Tipo il rosso è sta luce. Poi quello l'ho già preso. Prima riscende. Qui c'è il caricamento. E poi scendiamo. C'è il corridoio infinito in cui poi moriamo. E avanti c'è la storia, ma stanze rosso e blu non c'erano.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Volevo vedere se c'è qualcosa qui.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. The door
Non c'è
behind him was
niente.
not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Questa però è rossa. Tu che dici, mi tuffo o torno indietro? È difficile. Non saprei. Io non saprei. Quasi quasi. Tipo, mi tuffo, muoio e poi ricomincio tutto quanto col secchio e facciamo il secondo finale con l'esplosione. Ma sì.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story. Trapped forever in his narrow
Tipo io lì non ci posso andare su quella piattaforma, scusa, tipo un saltino, anche là sotto. Ah, se non sotto riesce ad andare per forza, ma tipo qua sopra.
So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Si blocca tutto, ma ammazzi direttamente. Si blocca.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Io non c'era niente.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator
Qui però
think
è
he was
tutto
going
quanto
to
bianco, non
accomplish?
c'è niente.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you
Allora,
see
cazzo
that
sta
Stanley
il
was
finale?
already dead from the moment he hit start?
Non mi ricordo dove cazzo sta la fine. L'uscita. Quello è... Che cazzo era questo? Non mi ricordo. È tipo la voce del tizio.
Stood on the snow.
Ah, le cose tagliate. Sarà relax. Dove cazzo sta l'uscita? La libertà è quella che abbiamo fatto. L'ascensore. Eccolo qui l'uscita.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. how they both wish to be free. Can
Eccolo qui.
you see how much they need one another?
Adesso mi spappola.
Perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen.
Dai, corri!
But listen to me. You can still save those two.
Sì, devo spegnere la PS4.
Before they both fail. Turn off your PlayStation. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let...
Che brutta morte. Una cosa così. Pigliamo sto secchiello di merda.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Andiamo a sinistra. Ho avuto tutta una corsa. Sono tirato. Eccolo qui, altri due presi. E allora? Stanza rossa e blu. Da qualche parte, non dice una stanza, da qualche parte, vabbè. È una grossa stanza piena di scatole. Quindi tipo un ripostiglio. No, un ripostiglio no, l'abbiamo già visto. Una stanza piena di scatole.
Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Poi si può aprire.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Io ho sempre paura di quando fa tutto quanto buio. Ho paura sempre che fa un piccolo jumpscare. Per qualche motivo. Allora, riportiamo normale il tempo. Ok.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
Su, corriamo.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine. Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control. Never!
Cioè, forse capito qual è, però non mi ricordo come cazzo ci siamo arrivati là. Credo pigliando la strada di sinistra, cioè quella di destra, quando ci sono le due porte. C'era un punto, eravamo tipo in un magazzino, quindi forse sta lì.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery... But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls. Stanley gasped in horror. Had this been the bucket's plan all along? To take over the machine and claim the power for itself? How could the bucket have betrayed him like this? Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen. Birds. Silly, silly birds. The control buttons became active again.
Ti sei persa questo. Ho premuto on e a quanto pare sono comparsi questi piccioni. Cioè questi gabbiani. Adesso devo premere uno di questi due pulsanti. Queste sono aquile e queste rondini. Una cosa così. Proviamo le aquile. Ah, non sono aquile, sono pappagalli. Belli.
Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly
su Instagram mi capitano sempre gufi, pappagalli, piccioni.
Controls were only a facade to disguise its true intention.
Questo che è tipo un pellicano? Lo stambecco con i piccoli.
Stanley and the bucket never found freedom
Questo
because they
non
spent the
lo
rest
so.
of their lives here in this place, flipping through live streams of the silliest birds
Un'oca
imaginable.
o anatra,
Of
questo non
all
si
the
sa.
possible
Sembra quasi un
paths his
dinosauro.
life could have taken, this one was surely the best, and Stanley was happy.
Non so, oh, i pinguini. Ah, fine, sono morto. Forse più che i gufi le civette, visto che comunque i gufi so che sono notturni, quindi magari per non disturbare così loro con noi prenderei una civetta. Vabbè, siamo morti così. Beh, è un bel finale. Adesso vediamo un po' se c'è il DLC.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. The confusion
Solo dobbiamo la strada di destra.
all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket. Stanley
Fanculo, sta zitto. Non di qua.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
Questo è
And
blu
here it was,
e
that
c'è
the
anche
bucket
qualcosa di
turned out
rosso.
to be correct. Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought. No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Qui pieno di scatole in teoria. Oh cazzo. Che facciamo? Devi andare qua, pure qui pieno di scatole.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift. Good,
Said the bucket.
now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course,
Cioè
because
se io
buckets
corressi e mi
can't talk.
tuffassi, c'è la
But
porta
Stanley chose
aperta.
not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Poi ce ne sono pure lì.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Dove cazzo sta?
Now pick up the phone.
Said the bucket.
Non mi ricordo sto finale com'è. Ah sì, no. Tutta la storia.
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
Allora, io non ho messo mezzanotte, comunque ok. Che cazzo posso fare qui? Dov'è il secchio? Beh, ok, molto interessante. Ah, ecco qui il secchio. Ciao, sono io, il tuo secchio. Premi per portarmi un lavoro con te. Non lavoro.
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
Posto bloccato. Boh. Ah, lavoro come quindi in stanza. Dove il secchio? Eccolo lì.
Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me.
Che tipo faccio?
Stanley, can you hear me?
Aspetta.
Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think, it can't talk. All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else. You see, he's not listening. He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now
Quindi mo
all
lui
he cares about
distrugge il
is this
secchio?
awful bucket. This stupid hunk of metal. It's sad. I suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket. Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine to it.
Beh, guarda, è tutto sporco, pieno di cacca praticamente. Tu credi che io sia reale, vero Stanley? Certo, sei reale.
Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket. It's just a little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier, more capable of transporting liquid. Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another. Oh my God, what am I saying? Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket? No, I'm having feelings for the bucket. No, no. What's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks. What's wrong with me? I don't understand. Perhaps, if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing. Yes, the bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome situation. Stanley, give me the bucket. Give it to me. Give me the bucket, Stanley. I need it. Give it to me now. Give it or I'll...
Non lavoro Stanley. Quindi che era un sogno? O ti ho massacrato? Boh, si capisce. Quindi mi ha tolto il secchio, quindi mo ritorno e non c'è più il secchio? Una cosa così? Prima vedere? Questa non è la mia stanza, cioè questa è la mia stanza, questo...
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided. Warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home.
Ne posso qualche stanza aperta.
Stanley pressed the bucket upon every little thing in the office. Nothing responded to the bucket's touch, but it did little to
Beh, strano questo corridoio,
in the magic of the bucket.
Oh. Questa è la nostra stanza, non c'è niente. Questa è la mia. Andiamo avanti.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting.
Sì, lo sappiamo.
Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the
Adesso torniamo
lounge
nella
was
stanza,
simply the place
nella
to be.
stanza.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket
Non
turned out
funziona
to be.
niente.
No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left and went back to the meeting room.
Passiamo di qua. Passiamo di qua.
And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
I cover non ci siamo passati la prima volta, anzi non ci siamo mai passati. Quindi questa dovrebbe essere la prima volta, se non ricordo male, eh? Vediamo un po' se ho ragione o se ho torto. E comunque questo è online, eh? Prima mi è arrivata la notifica. Quindi sì. Chissà che starà facendo.
Good Stanley, I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually. You see,
Una
your
gigante
friends
la
and I
foto.
are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this
Questa è mia
bucket
moglie.
you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
Oddio, mi sono quasi spaventato.
Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well. Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then.
Beh, questa è
Let's do it
classica.
for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
Un po' che c'è. Oh,
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's
Che è un
why I'm very
inceneritore.
proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree? Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the
non è che mi
machine
metto
when
di
you're
ciuffo io. Ciao. Detto
Now
ciao.
listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the
Ma
bucket
dove faccio
destroyer
X,
will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The Broom Closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they
Non mi fa
want.
dare.
Hurry and...
Sono morto? Cioè, credo di essere morto, sai come? Sto anche mi esplode in faccia.
The Bucket Destroyer, my prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
Quindi sono vivo. C'è un porco di insettino davanti alla TV. Bene. Credo di essere morto insieme alla macchina. Perché non so se devo continuare a raccogliere sto cazzo di secchie o meno. Però vediamo se il laboratorio è cambiato, diciamo, la parte iniziale. Sì, è cambiato. Ogni volta che ricominciamo cambia il laboratorio. Ufficio. E richiamiamolo.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and emptied. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee
Stavolta
was simply the place to be.
proviamo a tuffarci da quell'affare.
Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
Proviamo a tuffarci da questo affare. Vediamo un po' che succede.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift. Good,
Said the bucket.
now ride the
Sono
lift all the
anni.
way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Eccola lì.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk.
Come
But
cazzo
Stanley
faccio ad
chose not to
arrivarci?
think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
E serve la tessera. Statua di Danny, porco Giuda, sto arrivando. Da sotto, come cazzo ci arrivo? Pericolo dovunque. 2B1. Ecco dove è 2B2, non c'è. O è questa stanza qui che è aperta? Sarà questa.
No, stop. Look there on the wall, you see? There's a sign right there. It says, no buckets past this point. Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless, what if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket. Please, step in here for a moment.
Bene. Io mi sa che non carichi i messaggi sto video di YouTube, perché prima forse mi è sembrato. C'è l'ultimo messaggio, è bellissimi gufi, mo riavvio, vediamo un po' se è quello per davvero. Giusto perché se no sto continuando a vedere. Sì, ok, era quello.
Now then, I'm going to run you through some test scenarios and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket. Okay, let's begin. Item 1. Is this a bucket? Incorrect. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Scusa.
Item 2. Is this a bucket? Incorrect. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Mi sembra giusto.
Item 3. Is this a bucket? Correct.
Sì.
This is a bucket.
Sì, sto per dire no.
Item 4. Is this a bucket?
Ah, diranno che è un secchio, però io dico comunque di no.
Correct.
Ah.
This is a tractor and not a bucket. To be honest, I just sort of put this one in here as a gimme, but I was starting to get concerned that even this might be too much for you. Thank you for not making me look like an idiot. Okay, next one. Is this a bucket?
Ci avrà nascosta da qualche parte, un po'?
Incorrect. This is a bucket.
Mi sembra giusto.
Item 6. Is this a bucket?
Sì.
Trick
Sì.
question. Both. Gotcha.
Ah.
Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere.
Non posso manco scendere.
Yes. Thank you. There's nothing here. Of course it isn't a bucket. We both know full well that nothing isn't a bucket. Wait, when I say nothing isn't a bucket, that makes it sound like I'm saying everything is a bucket, which of course is not true. Unless... Is that what you think? Answer me straight, Stanley. Are you trying to tell me that you believe everything is a bucket?
Sì.
You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket? Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely.
No.
Okay, here we go.
Cancella tutto il gioco?
What happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait, was everything a bucket? Every single thing in the game was a bucket. My God, I had no idea. How could... Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person. All right, here we go.
Capito, Nicky? Tutto quanto un secchio. Cosa interessante.
The meeting room. Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then on, he would never be alone ever again. The good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket, off on another thrilling adventure together. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Andiamo. Devo verificare una cosa. C'è la tempesta fuori? Andiamo dal direttore.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Mi sembra che fuori ci sia una tempesta, così.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication
Dopo devo
of
fare
anything.
senza...
Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Devo farlo senza il cazzo di secchiello questa cosa. Se io facessi opzioni, non è che posso ricominciare direttamente senza farmi tutto quanto la morte, la fine è buona. Cazzi e mazzi. Così, giusto per sapere. Che a me non sto qui a rimorire. Ecco, visto? Presente nel gioco da capo tutto quanto? Non credo. Verifichiamo. Tanto questo era un inizio normale, non era una cosa modificata. Speriamo bene. Per non rifare tutto quanto. Ok, se c'è ancora i palloncini, quindi dovrebbe essere tutto quanto
Stanley had
normale.
never seen the office this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was. He hoped very much that it was.
Stavolta andiamo per quella
Stanley
strada.
came to a set of two open... This was not the correct way to the meeting room,
Sì,
and
sì,
Stanley
sì.
knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Stavolta scendiamo senza secchiello, così magari possiamo entrare.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the... You're getting close now, Stanley.
Eccolo
You've
qui.
nearly gotten all of the Figler and Marines. Very soon, you'll collect the last one, and then the first number will equal the second number, and that will be it. We'll be different people by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them, and now we have them all. You can't go back to when you had no Figler and Marines. None of us can.
Ok, comunque eccolo qui, blu e rosso. Blu o rosso? Blu o rosso direi forse blu.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley
Okay.
walked through the... Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here.
Siamo in un loop.
Running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
Cominciamo da capo.
What do we want?
Ah.
What are we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy.
Entrare di qua.
Wait, where are you going? Oh no,
Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this. Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me.
C'è niente.
Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing.
E ricominceremo da capo.
No! Oh, thank God. You lived. You had me worried there for a moment. Now, can we please get back to the other room?
Interessante. Oh.
There. See? This is what you want. This is where we can both be happy. We really can. If we stop moving, we just have to stop moving.
Stiamo fermi, vediamo un po' che succede, stiamo fermi, tipo qui al centro. Qualcosa? Non mi pare. Si sta offuscando, ok. Tipo mi uccide appena arriva tutto quanto lì al centro. No. E tutti quanti si raggruppano, Rifatto. C'era di no, che qua continua. Che dici, andiamo a suicidarci nell'altra stanza? Magari 2 botte mi faccio fuori. Una non è bastato, 2 sì. Sì, sì. Aspetta, no, sono finiti? E ora? Mi vogliono far fare qualcosa o tipo devo soltanto stare qui a vedere? Non posso manco tuffare di sotto. E tornare di là a suicidarci.
Stanley, go back. There's nothing good that can come from this.
No. No, no, what do you do? Do you just not believe me? What can I say to convince you?
Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me?
Se dobbiamo farlo. Ok, no, posso forse mettere la scia di la mia scia di sangue. Perché non possiamo dire di cosa stiamo parlando.
I know you'll see that we can't be happy if we leave this place. You can see that, can't you?
Ma tipo che devo ricominciare da capo da me? Che dici, Niki? Ricominciamo da capo senza aspettare altro? Cioè, uno non può restare così per tutto questo tempo, eh. Se non posso suicidarmi, che cazzo posso fare? No, secondo me qualcosa devo fare. Provo a tornare a suicidarmi. Proviamo. Ora farlo per 2 volte di fila.
No, perhaps not.
Sì, in realtà sto camminando un po' di merda, eh. Quindi mi sa che poco alla volta mi sto distruggendo le gambe.
Is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly? Maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along. But I guess that was too much to ask. It looks like you wanted to make a choice after all. Well, this one is yours.
Poraccio. Tanto triste questa macchina. Sto computer, quel cazzo è.
Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
Allora, direi che per oggi potrebbe bastare così. Vediamo un po' come va. Sì. E di fare un po' di... come si chiama? Io vorrei provare a fare quell'altro, quello lì de Nickelodeon
All of his co-workers were gone.
All Star Bro. Ah, al
Stanley decided
contrario?
to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Al contrario tutto quanto, quindi tipo... no, tanto la prima stanza è al contrario. Vabbè. Non è granché.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors,
Se ti va
he
Nicky...
entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Stanley felt lightheaded.
Ah, ok. Allora giusto una cosa. Faccio soltanto questa cosa. Devo verificare se sia posto di qua senza secchiello. Che succede? Noi ci siamo passati col secchiello e c'era tutto quanto quella cosa. E se lo faccio senza, cambia. C'è sempre lo stesso scenario.
He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back he needed to go from here it's oh no, it's to the right, my mistake.
Che era lì? C'era qualcosa?
No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Investe? Ah no.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
Ok. Allora, abbiamo visto cosa succede se andare là sotto senza quello. E vabbè, per oggi può bastare così. Ho visto diverse storie, diversi finali, tutti quanti col secchiello. Mi ricordo perché c'erano dato il secchiello. Che cos'è che avevo fatto col secchiello? Perché ce l'hanno dato? Ah sì, perché l'ho preso nella stanza finale, diciamo. Con le statuine e tutto quanto, ok. E vabbè, così può bastare per oggi. Per la prossima volta proveremo a raggiungere, come si chiama, l'ultima statuina. Sembra che ce la faremo. Mi sa che lì dovrò vedere su internet, anche perché c'è un posto lì per arrivarci, però è chiuso, sbarrato, c'è un tunnel, non si capisce. Vabbè, questo sarebbe interessante di trovare una scena così. Io che cammino, c'è tutta questa cosa. Vabbè, bella.